Hello, I will do chapter 5 and the story begins with Molly. Page 46. And I was a long way away, but I am almost certain that I saw this. He was talking to you and you were allowing him to stroke your nose. Clover is saying to Molly that she saw her being with humans and humans were touching her. Molly denies it because she thinks that the other animals would hate her. And Clover also finds ribbons and sugar under her straws, and I think Molly realizes this and she runs away 3 days later. Well, I think I mentioned it previously. Molly represents the selfish middle classes in the Russian Revolution. I know she is selfish, but since the other animals turn like this later on, maybe we should try to understand Molly, who found her own way very fast. Page 47. It had come to be accepted that the pigs, who were manifestly cleverer than the other animals, should decide all questions of foreign policy, though their decisions had to be ratified by a majority vote. When I read this, I felt like the other animals were giving their own dictatorship to the pigs. Maybe it is more better for the pigs to choose more things, because it's true that they are very intelligent, but it doesn't mean that the pigs have to give their own freedom to the pigs. They achieved it in a very hard process. They had this rebellion process. They had to make Mr. Jones go out. So I couldn't kind of understand the rest of the animals. I felt very sorry for them because they were losing something very valuable. Page 47. These two disagreed at every point where disagreement was possible. So Snowball and Napoleon keeps on fighting. They have every different opinions, and I didn't know if they really did have different opinions or they just hated each other, so the other one would do the opposite thing that the one did. Maybe it would have been really good if they became good friends and helped each other, because Napoleon has charisma. Many animals follow him because they're scared of him. He's very strong. But Snowball is very good at talking, and I think he would be kind of humorous if he was a human. So if these two collaborated, they would be great leaders who could make a really peaceful world. Page 48. Oh yeah, and the sheeps always say 4 legs good, 2 legs bad whenever Snowball tries to say something. I think this shows Napoleon's power. He is very strong, and he kind of uses this to make others quiet. He uses other animals who follow him. But this is kind of like Hitler, or yeah, because he represents Stalin. I kind of thought he was similar to other people. Another sentence is, but of all their controversies, none was so bitter as the one that took place over the windmill. So there is this biggest fight over the windmill, and I read the rest of the chapter, and they fight, and Snowball ends up escaping away from Napoleon. I think the windmill plan was a really good idea, but I can understand both Napoleon and Snowball. Maybe if they could understand each other a little more, it wouldn't have been so sad in the end. Page 50. The animals formed themselves into 2 factions under the slogans Vote for Snowball and the 3-Day Week, and Vote for Napoleon and the Foule Mangere. So I kind of didn't say what was before. So the story is, there is this windmill project. Snowball wants to do it. So he had this idea of building a snowball in a very good place. He is explaining to the other animals that it would be a hard process to build the windmill, but if they do build it, there would be electricity that would make them rest for the rest of the days. There would be heaters that could make them warm and light that could make the farm very bright. But Napoleon doesn't agree with this. He would say that it would be more efficient to use that money on food production. Maybe they both are right, but the donkey Benjamin is the only one who doesn't believe any of them. The other animals all have a side. They either believe Napoleon or Snowball, but Benjamin is saying that none of them would be true. Benjamin, from the charts I found again, Benjamin represents citizens who knew that something was really wrong, but they didn't do anything. They just watch it going on. And I also found it from the lit charts that Snowball, I mentioned it, but Snowball, we all know that Snowball represents Trotsky and Napoleon represents Stalin. Snowball, who is Trotsky in actual real life, he wanted to modernize the USSR, and Napoleon wanted to solve the immediate concerns. So that can be seen in reality. It is all based on true facts. Page 51. According to Napoleon, what the animals must do was to procure firearms and train themselves in the use of them. Snowball, they must send out more and more pigeons to stir up rebellion among animals on the other farms. So not only the windmill project, but with the problem of having the possibility of Mr. Jones attacking again, they're having differences on opinions. Napoleon is saying that they have to get stronger to defend the humans, and Snowball is saying that they must make more animals outside know about the situation so that they can help. Well, both of the opinions make sense, and Napoleon and Snowball has opinions, but I think the other animals don't. They just follow the pigs, which can lead to a dangerous situation. So when I was reading this, I was kind of worried what would happen later. I could see that Napoleon and Snowball was also very strong in their opinions. Page 52. On page 52, the animals gathered around, and all the animals are gathering in a place, and they are voting if they should make the windmill or they shouldn't. So Snowball is presenting why it would be good if they could make the windmill, and Napoleon just stands up and says, "I don't like the idea," very shortly. So since Snowball made a really good presentation, it is estimated that Snowball would be voted. But there is a change in page 53. Page 53, they dashed straight for Snowball, who only sprang from his place just in time to escape their snapping jaws. If you just read the sentence, you wouldn't know what is going on. So what is happening is that you remember the 9 dogs. They are attacking Snowball. I mean, when Napoleon made a sign, the dogs go to Snowball and they started attacking. So Snowball is really surprised and he runs away. There are so many fights in the animal world too. Then page 53, then he put on extra spurt and with a few inches to spare slipped through a hole in the hedge and was seen no more. So Snowball is gone forever. And in the real world, it happened. The USSR in the USSR, Stalin defeated Trotsky in the power struggle, and he was exiled. Maybe Snowball hated Napoleon, but he didn't really harm him. So I felt very sorry for Snowball, and I'm kind of expecting Snowball to come again and help the rest of the animals, because it seems that Napoleon is kind of violent. And the 9 puppies, It's I remember telling you that Napoleon thought education really importantly, and the 9 puppies were found out that it was the dogs that Napoleon educated. They were very big, they were very violent, and they think of Napoleon as the owner, just like the other animals did to Mr. Jones. After Snowball escaped from Napoleon, page 54, he announced that from now on the Sunday morning meetings would come to an end. What? So this, I think the world that old Major dreamed is getting far from the reality. Napoleon, now he became the leader of the other animals, and he is making everything under his control. I feel very unfair for this. It isn't fair. If animals feel something is wrong and they try to change it, I think it's not that too late. In future, all questions relating to the work of the farm would be settled by a special committee of pigs presided by Over himself. So if there is anything to choose, Napoleon saying that he and his pigs would choose. This is also really unfair, and when the other animals try to say something, the dogs are barking and the sheep keeps on saying 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. So I can see that Napoleon knows that he's strong, and the animals know that something is really going on wrong, but they have nothing to say about it. Even the pigs are saying that Snowball was a criminal, but the animals kind of not believe it, but the pigs are making them believe it. Page 56, and from then he adopted the maxim, Napoleon is always right, in addition to his private motto of I will work harder. Boxer keeps on believing that Napoleon is always right, so he will believe in Napoleon and works hard. I was kind of worried about Boxer because if he works too hard and believes Napoleon too much, he might get hurt later. And I really like Boxer because he's a very hard worker and he seemed to be really kind. And I forgot to mention that the sheeps mention the duped citizens of a totalitarian state. I also found this from the lit charts as well. Page 57. On the 3rd Sunday after Snowball's explosion, the animals were somewhat surprised to hear Napoleon announce that the windmill was to be built after all. This doesn't make sense. I mean, I couldn't understand Napoleon. And the other animals can't understand him too. And Squealer explains that the last plans have even been prepared. So the animals are saying something. What is going on? And Squealer from page 58, Squealer looking very sly said that that it was Snowball that did cunning from Napoleon's ideas, but the animals are not certain, but they have nothing to say because they know that the sheep and dogs will do something to them, and I can't also believe them too. I can't understand the pigs, and if I thought that if Old Major had seen this, he would be very angry at Napoleon for making a world similar to humans again. I don't know what will the story end like, but I hope that there will be a big change to the animals. I hope they can be happy again like before. Thank you.